All right, my beautiful people, man. Good morning to you. Trying to get this thing crack-a-lacking. All right, there we go, man. All right. Hey, good morning to you, man. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the New Black Wall Street Book Club. We are going to be picking up our good book, The Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, by Mr. Dennis Kimbro. We've just made a decision that we are going to focus on personal development this year. And so yesterday, I think it was episode 7, we talked about Madam C.J. Walker and her story 100 years ago, becoming the first millionaire. Today we'll be picking up with Alonzo F. Herndon. So the two subsections we'll be going over today is from slavery to riches, and then also what else? What's the other one? You will never know unless. Good morning to you, by the way. While you guys are connecting, go ahead and let us know where you're connecting from, what city and state. You always like to know just how far we're reaching. Good morning to you at Instagram Live, Miss Willona. Thanks so much for joining. YouTube Live as well, and then also Facebook Live. You give me just a second. I am going to be hitting this, hitting this share button, this like button, let people know that we're here as we get ready to get into our good book for today. Now, how many guys would agree that we should read more? That we should read more. Well, guess what? That's exactly what we're going to be doing here, and we also actually do have a club, a book club that you can be a part of if you decide that you want to go deeper with this. You want to develop not by yourself but with others. And I found that as we do things together, we make way more progress. And so this is the reason why the book club is here, to help those who are serious about taking their life to another level, serious about taking control. And I found that as we get control of self, then we can take care of everything else. You fix your mind, you'll fix your money. You fix your mind, you fix your relationships. You fix your mind, you'll fix everything else in your life. And so that's exactly what we are doing here. Good morning to you over here. I just got a couple places to go, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll here with New Black Wall Street Book Club. Again, we're going through the book Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice by Dennis Kimbro. So you can pick that book up if you like. What's going on, Latia Taylor? Philly is in the house. What's going on, man? My man A.V. A.V. What's going on, brother, from Ohio, man? Good to see you. I saw you were part of the Unity Walk. I'd love to hear about that. Man, got a chance to meet Urema, I can't think of his last name. I can't say his last name. And then also my main man, Dr. Aaron. Got a chance to talk to him, man. I saw the picture, man. I bet you had a wonderful time there at the Unity Walk, I think around Kwanzaa or something like that. So fantastic, man. We're doing that dang on thing. Where did I go? Did I go to? I guess I got to a few places. I'm not quite sure. That's everything we're going to do, man. Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. Let me see what y'all saying over here in these comments, man. We got to get this thing going. What's going on? All right, fantastic. Man, hit that like button, that share button, let people know that we're here as we get into the guide for successful Black Americans. Again, Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. What we do is we actually do meet on Tuesday nights for those who are saying they want to take it to another level. Those are saying they want to not only just get the knowledge, but actually apply it in their life. We do meet and we take it to another level, go deeper. We call it call to action sessions. We'll also be adding to the book club some business development sessions as well. So if you think about it, say, man, what are books that business owners, these small entrepreneurs, these entrepreneurs themselves should be reading in order to implement some things into their business to make it more successful, or to take their business to another level. So we'll be adding that. That'll be private sessions. But when you join the club, when you join the club, you'll get both of those sessions as a part of it as well, because we want to bring value into your life, no matter whether it's from a personal standpoint or if it's also from a business standpoint as well. And then we'll be adding some things as well. But hey, it's time to get this show on the road, man. New Black Wall Street Book Club. You know what time it is, man. Mr. DJ, hey, hit the music.
New New Black Wall Street Book Club. Evan Jefferson, brother, much love. Educating, elevating, because in knowledge is the power and we'll never give it up.
That's Hartwell.
Literature's for the masses. Where to put your money down, now how to watch your assets. Yeah, uplifting others is a passion. My brother Evan, he will turn it into action. New Black Wall Street Book Club. You should come read with us. Yeah, we comprehend and discuss. If we all just come together, there's no limit for us. Here comes your host, New Black Wall Street. Evan, take it away. New Black Wall Street Book Club.
All right, my beautiful people, man. Again, thanks so much for joining us here today on the New Black Wall Street Book Club. Black folk do read. You put in a book, we absolutely will find it. Hey, we're just making a commitment to personal development, taking the control of our lives and our minds, and taking control of every other area of our life, taking it to a whole new level in 2019. We're in January 4th, so 4 days in, man. How many of you guys have already starting to see a great year? You're having a phenomenal time with your elevation. You're having a phenomenal time with this change that you might have been going through, some things that you've implemented, and you're just saying, hey, I just want to stay on track with these new habits that I'm beginning to create. I've dropped the seeds into my life, and now I just want to cultivate those seeds so they bear fruit. Now, I want to say this, that as you do that, obviously the fruit doesn't come overnight. It comes over time. But how many guys can start to see the fruit developing in your life? And so I don't know what that is for you, what newness that you've taken on, what new habits you've added, what old habit you have gotten rid of. You said, man, hey, I know there's some things that I got to change, and you've been willing to change it. But I can rest assure you this, that as you cultivate that change, as you make a concerted effort to do something about it every day, to add on to it every day, you will see the results in your life. It's a part of the universal law. You know, you reap what you sow. So what have you sown, and cultivate it so that you can reap from it as well. Today's episode is sponsored by ERGJ Black Bazaar. ERGJ Black Bazaar. We do have the wonderful calendars for you to pick up as well, for you to plan your year. This here is the Black History calendar, from slavery to the White House. And it's very interesting because they were going to be talking about from slavery to riches, but from slavery to the White House, 16-month calendar has some Barack Obama, John Mercer in it. Frederick Douglass is a part of it as well. Let's read the back of it. African Americans have made tremendous contributions to this nation, specifically to the White House, since the beginning of this time. On August 14, 1814, in war seeking independence from Britain, the White House was set ablaze and torched to the ground. Stone by stone, African American slaves worked relentlessly in efforts to rebuild the home of the leader of the free world. Black history is American history. This year, its original unique perspective on 2019, from slavery to the White House calendar. On each turn of the page, you'll find information on the nation's prominent African-American leaders, from Frederick Douglass to our 44th president, Barack Obama. Each month highlights and educates using historical facts, all related to the trials, tribulations, and triumphs of our community, which exemplify the journey from slavery to the White House. And so from slavery to the White House, we've got 2 of these calendars left available, $15. So if you want to pick up, again, if you want to pick up a calendar for the new year, you want to plan out your year so that you take control of your year. You want to finish your year before you start your year. Plan that thing out. Good morning to you, Cyrus. L'Oreal, congratulations, Miss Hartwell. She's got a new book. She's a new published author, by the way. I think it's called Gold Mine. We'll actually be picking her book up as part of what we do I think in probably about April or something like that. So it'll be the 3rd book in our rotation as we get our minds right. She's written a wonderful quality book to be able to help us do that. And if you do know some authors, or you're an author yourself, you're saying, hey, I like my book reviewed and quite possibly being presented here on the book club, hey, make sure that you inbox us, whatever platform you're on, and let us know. And we'll take a look at and see if there's something that fits what we're doing. Also, if you are a business and you're saying, hey, I like to be a part of what you guys are doing here and get some promotion and have my product or my service broadcast to the network, make sure that you inbox us as well. We do have sponsorship packages available. But hey, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you don't have a lot of it. I don't have a lot. We got to get right into this thing. Think and Grow Rich, a Black choice. Everybody put in the console, a Black choice. Think and Grow Rich, a Black choice. And so yesterday, we talked about the characteristics of infinite intelligence. We also, again, talked about creative dreaming and where ideas come from. Today, we'll be picking up on the story of Alonzo F. Herndon. How many guys know who that is? And of course, I'm in Atlanta, I do, because we have Herndon homes and all that stuff as well. But we're going to be picking up, talking about the story of Alonzo F. Herndon, and then we'll also pick up on discussing you never know, you will never know unless. So let's get right into what we're going to be discussing today: from slavery to riches. From slavery to riches. Now, what I find very interesting, again, is that we have some prominent African Americans who were able to do it with the worst of odds. And we're 100 some odd years later, and if they could do it, we can do it. So let's get into our discussion today. So when the subject of Black economic development arises, Alonzo F. Herndon, his name is on every tongue. Though he was born a slave in southern Georgia, Alonzo F. Herndon died a millionaire nearly 3/4 of a century later, perhaps the wealthiest Black man of his time. How many guys? Why wasn't I getting Alonzo F. Herndon in Black history? Huh? Well, that's a good question. Black History Month, I don't think nobody ever brought up Alonzo F. Herndon name. So that's why we're going to be having Black History all year long. It's a 365-day event. Anyway, Alonzo F. Herndon died a millionaire nearly 3/4 of a century later, perhaps the wealthiest Black man of his time. How Herndon obtained his wealth is of great interest. He reached his goal by holding true to an intense belief in his ideas and his abilities. It was of no surprise that he valued creative thinking. Everybody put in the console creative thinking. That he valued creative thinking as one of his most prized assets. Alonzo F. Herndon, a millionaire, right, of his time, he valued creative thinking. And I want you and I to begin to value that as well. Herndon spoke directly about success. Sometimes it's best, he said, if a man just spends a moment or two thinking. It is one of the toughest things he will ever do, and that's probably why so few bother to do it. Let me ask you this morning. Are you setting aside time as we are going through this journey together to simply think? Setting aside time in your day to think. Again, a man who was born in Georgia, in the southern states, who became a millionaire in this time frame. He placed a premium on creative thinking, and he took his thoughts to become a millionaire some 100 years ago. Alonzo F. Herndon. Let's put his name in the comments below. Everybody put his name in the comments below. Alonzo F. Herndon. All right, I want to make sure that we capture that name. Alonzo F. Herndon. For those who don't know who he is and never heard that name before, great thing, great man for us to study. All right, because again, if he could do it, we can do it. Herndon mastered 3 of the most stubborn enemies of mankind and converted them into useful tools. These enemies were ignorance, illiteracy, and poverty. He mastered ignorance, illiteracy, and poverty. Any man who can stay the hands of these 3 antagonists, and what is more, harness and use them to good account, is well worth close study. Now, you guys probably have heard me say this before, but life is a study. And today we're going to be studying and learning about a man who went from poverty, from slavery, to riches. Alonzo F. Herndon was 7 years old when the Civil War ended. It was his first taste of freedom. He and his brother were raised by their mother in a one-room, dirt-floor log cabin. He was the only child when he got his first job, working for his grandfather in the lumber yard. From there, he moved on to the field hand, providing back-breaking labor on the farm of his former owner. For his efforts, he was paid less than $50 a year. To augment his painfully low wages, Herndon started a number of businesses on the side. He sold peanuts, molasses, novelty items, but mostly he cut hair. Let me ask you this, guys. If you feel like you're not making enough money, like your job isn't paying you the wages that you feel like you deserve, what are you doing on the side to create multiple streams of income for yourself? See, Mr. Herndon, he said, hey, they're not paying me what I need. They're not paying me enough. So I'm going to go out here and I'm going to create something else. I'm going to do something on the side. I'm going to have another stream of income so I can increase my revenue. Are you willing to do what Mr. Alonzo was willing to do? Mr. Herndon was willing to do. Do what's necessary to get the income that you desire into your household. He sold peanuts, molasses, and novelty items, but mostly he cut hair on the side. How about you? His ventures rendered little in terms of monetary rewards, but the idea of working for himself gave him great satisfaction. By the time Herndon arrived in Atlanta, he had already shaped a career as a barber. Even as a farmhand in rural Georgia, he managed to cut hair in a rented space on Saturdays in the black section of town. Atlanta in the early 1880s. This 1880, oh my goodness, was a boom town that seemed right for someone like Herndon with a head full of ideas. Herndon made no bones about his desire to be rich. So it was a little surprise when he launched the finest barber shop in the world. And the world, let alone Atlanta, had never seen a barbershop as palatial or as opulent. In 1904, more than 100 years ago, he opened a fancy establishment on Peachtree Street, which was described at the time as the most popular and most successful business of its type. Resplendent with exquisite fixtures and French provincial furnishings, the Emporium, as it was called, was equipped with 23 chairs, marble floors, bronze and crystal chandeliers, and a white steel ceiling. Surely, surrounded by such luxuries, Herndon's elite clientele was pampered by 6-foot-long bathtubs, highly skilled barbers and bootblacks, attending with their every whim. It was said that customers felt more important in Herndon's shop than those of his white competitors. His was the only black enterprise on the city's busiest thoroughfare. With his hair care business secure and earning handsome profits, Herndon was still dissatisfied. Why? He had already won his rags to riches race. He had conventionally acquired enough money to allow his family to live comfortably with their remaining earnings. What was tugging at his subconscious? Well, since his childhood days in Walton County, Alonzo Herndon was always wanted to do things in a big way. Even in his later years, he refused to apologize for his copious taste. America is a capitalist country, and I'm a capitalist, he told those close to him. He was a man with a mission to raise Black America from its economic stagnation. But how? Herndon dabbled in real estate and was quite successful. He purchased properties throughout the city, and at one time owned an entire block of office buildings in the heart of Atlanta's business district. Before long, he was a millionaire. Nevertheless, he was still looking for ways to expand his empire. Everybody putting commas, so expand. He was still looking for ways to expand his empire. So he just simply did not quit. He had a desire to raise the economic infrastructure, economic status of Black America. And because he searched, it happened. Infinite intelligence had presented him with an enormous opportunity. Now, I want you to see that before he got the opportunity, first he had to search. Seeking you will find. We find that to be true. My question to you this morning is, what are you seeking? See, some people woke up this morning, they didn't have anything that they were seeking for, searching for. They just, hey, I'm just going to go and do what I always do. But is it possible that if you find something that is worthwhile to search for, that the universe, that infinite intelligence, that God himself will provide an opportunity, will bring that opportunity up unto you, will present it to you, if you simply search for it. Seek and ye will find. Almost by accident, Herndon came to the rescue of 2 local ministers whose enterprise was on the brink of bankruptcy. Georgia law had required that all mutual aid societies, insurance companies, deposit $5,000 with state officials. Many Black businesses, particularly those run by churches, could not foot the bill. Aware of their plight, Herndon purchased the church association for $160 and found himself in the insurance business. With no previous experience in insurance sales, Herndon applied the principles. Everybody put a comment, so apply the principles. He applied the principles that led to his success in other areas. The Atlanta Benevolent and Protective Association was launched in a one-room office on Auburn Avenue. The firm wrote policies for Blacks when it was virtually impossible because of presumed bad risk for them to get insurance. Herndon, however, changed that. He began hiring Black college graduates from Atlanta and Harvard universities, utilizing their eagerness and passing on his wisdom and sales savvy. Think of what this means, he told cynics who thought the idea of Blacks becoming employers preposterous. Just think, colored men and women offering employment to those of our own race. Just think, colored men and women offering employment to those of our own race. He was thinking like this back in 1905. Under his leadership, the tiny company grew, expanding from one location in 1905 to 84 branch offices and 70,000 policyholders in 1911. 6 years it took from the time he started to 84 branches and 70,000 policyholders later in 6 years. He then changed the firm's name to Atlanta Life Insurance Company and began offering all lines of insurance. Today, Atlanta Life assets are more than 135 million and is the nation's second largest Black-owned insurance company. Now, I'll put out some information about Atlanta Life today. Dramatic story of big business that you have just read is the perfect illustration of the method by which thinking can be transformed into riches. That thinking can be transformed into riches. What was this ex-slave turned millionaire's secret? What was this ex-slave turned millionaire? What was his secret? Simple. Alonzo Herndon achieved his goals by putting his creative genius to work. By putting his creative genius to work. Despite his lack of formal schooling and the handicaps of doing business in a deeply segregated society, Herndon placed great stock in his ability to dream and to imagine and to dare. To dream, to imagine, and to dare. In 1913, Herndon told the faculty and the students at Tuskegee Institute, where he served on its board, that wealth and creativity go hand in hand. The Black man must possess dreams and visions if he really desires to do anything in a big way. Herndon knew of the power packed into the principle of imagination, and he made others aware of it also. When promising young students from neighboring Black colleges came to his attention, he would invite them to his sumptuous mansion, and over dinner would encourage them to talk of visions and possibilities and dreams. Let me ask you this. Where in your world is there an environment for you to talk about visions, possibilities, and dreams? This is what we are establishing and creating in the New Black Wall Street Book Club. Again, where in your world is there an environment for you to talk about visions, possibilities, and dreams? This is what we are creating with the New Black Wall Street Book Club, and you can be a part of it if you so choose to do so. Herndon, like so many creative thinkers, used a notepad and pencil as favorite working tools, and I continue to say this every morning. Do you have your journal? Pen and paper, right, as your working tool. When an idea occurred, he jotted it down. He, like other great men of accomplishment, engaged in thinking and planning and meditation time. This is something that is you'll find in all of these success stories. Thinking and planning and meditation time. And I'm just simply saying that as we look at the habits of the wealthy, we look at the habits of the successful, we simply need to pick up their habits in order to have some level of success that they have had, right? And we can preach it every morning, right? And we'll continue to preach it every morning. Get your journal. When you get an idea, jot it down and then put some energy into it. And you'll begin to see liftoff in your life. You'll begin to see liftoff towards the destination that you determine for yourself. Alonzo F. Herndon, right? Again, over 100 years ago, went from slavery to riches. An ex-slave turned millionaire, and he attributes a lot of it to creative thinking. Creative thinking. You will never know unless, our next section, and we'll finish this up today. Notice that the achievers above did not have success handed to them. At first, the world was not particularly kind to Madam Walker or Alonzo Herndon. And yet, refusing to blame life for any shortcomings, each managed to carve out a successful career from the materials that life provided. The world was made better because they dreamed and translated their dreams into reality. Life never leaves you stranded. Let me say that again. Life never leaves you stranded. If life hands you a problem, it also hands you the ability to overcome that problem. Are you ever tempted to blame the world for your failures or shortcomings? If so, I suggest you pause and reconsider. Does the problem lie with the world or with you? Does the problem lie with the world or with you? Dare to dream. You will never know what your capacity for achievement is until you learn how to mix your efforts with imagination. You'll never know what your capacity for achievement is until you learn. Everybody put in comments on learn. Learn how to mix your efforts with imagination. The products of your hands minus imagination will yield you but a small return. But those same hands, when properly guided by imagination, can be made to earn you all the material wealth you can handle. Ideas are the most important things on earth. How many ideas or possibilities can you think of? How many ideas would surface if you would devote a few minutes each day to creative thinking? When you truly discover that success in all areas of life starts simply by employing the creative process that lies within, you can grasp a life of vast wealth. Research has shown that your ability to bring into action this deeper area of the mind will determine your level of success. Napolean Hill makes another profound observation. He wrote, from the time of Socrates, the founder of ethical science, to the inventive Edison, Ford, and George Washington Carver, this little understood area of mental activity has delivered the insight and know-how for almost every great achievement that makes possible and sustains modern civilizations as we know it. Ideas are the most important things on earth. Let me read that one section again, too. You will never know what your capacity, everybody put in comments capacity. You will never know what your capacity for achievement is until you learn how to mix your efforts with imagination. We're going to stop there, guys. Those two sections, again, are capturing the story of Alonzo F. Herndon, an ex-slave turned into a millionaire over 100 years ago. This story, I didn't hear it on Black History Month. Nobody ever brought up this name, Alonzo F. Herndon. And also, you will never know unless. I like that word as well, unless. You will never know unless. And really, what's the end of that? Unless you do it, right? My hope is that as we continue to go on this journey together, that you will implement the things of action, that you will begin to do it. It's one thing to maybe sit in, and hopefully you got some notes that you're taking as well, and capture some of this story, capture this great book. It's another thing to do what is said to do from within the book. And so if you're saying, hey, I'm going to do something different this year. I'm enjoying and I'm liking what I'm hearing here. This is something I've been looking for, and you want to join the book club so we can learn how to do together. Then make sure that you inbox us wherever you are connecting to us from, whether it's on YouTube Live, Instagram Live, YouTube, I guess you got to leave a message, or Facebook Live. Inbox us, let us know, man, I want to join the club. Make sure you get you all the information that you need in order to do that. Again, today's episode is sponsored by ERGJ Black Bazaar, where you can pick up your 2019 Afrocentric African-American calendar. This one here is the Black History from Slavery to the White House calendar. You can pick that up for $15. Make sure you go over to www.ergjblackbazaar and shop to your heart's content. Show your support for what we're doing here with the New Black Wall Street Book Club. Here's my question to you before we close this thing out. What was your takeaway from today? What did you learn? What are you going to apply? What's something that stuck with you? Some statement, some sentence, some principle that you're saying, man, that makes a ton of sense. I need to chew on that for a minute. Now, the reason why we ask this is because we want to always make sure that you are getting value out of what we're doing today. And also, obviously, we want to check to make sure that you took some good notes from this good literature. And so we're just going to continue moving along with finding great quality books to read. And we're going to be focusing again this year. This club has a purpose: personal development and business building. Personal development and business building. And I want to say this again. If Alonzo Herndon could go from slavery to a millionaire. And he attributes that to his creative thinking process and his desire to be rich. If he could do it in 1911, 100 years ago, you and I can do it today. How many guys believe that? If he could do it, we could do it. If those black billionaires back there could do it, I can do it. We just simply have to learn how they did it and who they were when they did it. Because it's not always just the how, the schematics. A lot of it has to do with their makeup, as the character, the makeup of who they are, which pushed them into the schematics. New Black Wall Street Book Club. Yes, this is a time. This is Reading Rainbow 2.0 with a purpose. We're looking to build this network, find people who are looking for us, who are looking to make a difference and take control of their life and expand and elevate and make progress towards their definite goals, their definite chief aims in life. Well, Mr. Landscape said, never heard of him either, but I now know, and I'm going to do some more work, doing homework on it. That's right, man. And I'll put out some information on Atlanta Life today. But that's our time here today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. A New Black Wall Street Book Club again. We are going through the book, Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. We'll be here tomorrow at 8 a.m. I'm going to miss Sunday. I got a speaking engagement. A Guide to Success for Black Americans. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern for episode number 9. And we'll be talking about 3 more individuals in history and their rise to and their rise to success. And I believe that as we learn more about our history, it will inspire us to move in that same direction. This is ERGJ, man, CEO of ERGJ Enterprises and ERGJ Black Bazaar. I want you to remember this, that it takes a village, and it starts with us. Let's build as we climb together. Hey, man, have a wonderful weekend. You know what time it is. Mr. DJ, hit the music.
It's the New Black Wall Street Book Club.
Yeah.
Your host, Evan Jefferson. It's time for us to go. Yeah. Now, you ain't got to leave the computer, but we encourage you to get out there and learn and apply all the things you learn at the New Black Wall Street Book Club. Book Club. Yeah. New Black Wall Street. The New Black Wall Street.